whatever reason, I always remembered Skip Ricter in the first Cars movie as a kid. And even to this day, I thought he was in the movie more than he was. I always remember him being there reporting on Lightning being missing. But I never remembered the fact that he was only in the montage for like 3 seconds. Like, it literally cuts away before he finishes his sentence. I don't know why, but I always remembered Skip Ricter having a larger role. I think at one point I even misremembered Skip Ricter as being the car to report on the fact that McQueen was missing, when in reality it's Corey Turbowitz. Look, she's right there. How convenient. And I think that's because Skip does the report from the exact same place as Corey, but just a few seconds later in the movie. And despite the fact that I always remembered Skip Ricter as a kid, for whatever reason as a kid, I never really remembered Chuck Manifold, which is odd because I just rewatched the scene he was in, that Skip was in before the review, and Chuck appears a good, 10 seconds later in the McQueen is missing montage. So I don't know why I thought Skip had this bigger role, and I was never able to identify where Chuck Manifold appeared. And I just think there's something really funny about that. In my mind, I've always correlated these two because when I was little, I thought they had the same mold. I thought that Chuck was just blue Skip Ricter pretty much, but Skip actually has a completely different mold than Barry Chuck Manifold. That was a deep cut to Meet the Cars, where they say that's his real name. Only a real fan gets that one. No, I'm kidding. But Skip Ricter actually has a completely different mold, and I don't know. As a kid, I always wondered, why isn't there a diecast of him? Why do I just have this guy? Well, Skip released a year after Chuck in the Final Lap collection. Chuck and Chucky both released in 2009, both reporters from that scene, and Skip released in 2010, and Dan Sklarkenberg was also supposed to be released in 2010, but he was canceled and not released until 2016. So, it makes sense that Skip released in 2010 while these other guys released in 2009. What doesn't make sense to me is the fact that none of them have been re-released. Come on. Bring back Skip, bring back Chuck, bring back Chucky. Chucky has never been re-released, or actually Chucky was released in 2008, I think, then re-released in 2009, but a lot of these cars really need to make a comeback. They've been re-releasing a lot of the camera cars over the past few years, even making some new ones. We need these actual reporter cars to be re-released beyond just Corey Turbowitz and our lack of rear-view mirrors. Anyway, guys, welcome back to yet another review. Today we're going to be taking a look at Skip Ricter, number 103 in the Final Lap collection. This is his first and only release. I stopped buying cars pretty much, other than Cars Tunes, by the time the Final Lap collection came out. I was sort of growing out of cars at that point. I was turned off by the lenticulars, and I wasn't on the internet because I was really young, so I didn't know of websites like Take 5 a Day or other places that would be reporting on new Cars releases. So yeah, never knew about Skip Ricter when he first came out, even though I probably would have gotten him when I was younger, because, again, I thought he was in the movie quite more than he was. But I didn't start reviewing any cars on the Final Lap card until about 2 years ago, when I think it was Milo I got for my birthday. That was my first ever Final Lap collection review. Now I've reviewed quite a few. I got several Final Lap cars from re-releases and years since, but now I've been going back and getting some cars that have only been released in the Final Lap line. Final Lap was called that because I guess they thought they weren't going to keep going after Cars 2. I guess Mattel didn't know what the future would be for the Cars line, because this was 2010, Cars 2 came out in early 2011, so they thought, alright, this is the Final Lap. And we've got Dexter Hoover with a white flag, which I believe he does have a white flag at one point in the movie. We've never gotten a diecast of that. We got a Chris Rostovsky with white flag, but never a Dexter. We've got Skip there, Skip Ricter written at the bottom, again with his number. We've got the little plastic pop-out hook. Complete your collection. Collect these and more. It's the Final Lap and the race to the finish. Collect 40 new characters from the Cars movie, but don't speed by any classics you missed the first time around. We have Skip here, Muddy McQueen, one of the coolest McQueen variants, super expensive now. Donna Pitts, Polly Puddle Jumper, Constanza de la Corza, Nick Stickers, Race Damage Mood Springs, another infamous car, Blowing Bubbles Mater, Pit Crew Sarge, Wet McQueen, J Limo, Vern, One Eye Mater, and Antonio Velase Excellente. All the cars listed here, it's funny, all of them were new releases in this line. I like how they make a point of the fact that, we got 40 new releases, but don't forget the other ones, and then they don't mention any of the other ones. But, yeah, it was quite a big line, considering the fact that Skip is number 103, so they really spaced out those 40 new releases, just like how nowadays Mattel would of course, space out near releases. Oh, he's got oh, come on. He's got a taped blister. Oh, this is annoying whenever they do this. It's not done often, it's not done anymore, but man, he's taped. Oh, did I get it? Oh, there we go. Skip is taped to his blister. Can I do this without cutting the camera? Or damaging the card back? Yeah! Wow, I'm proud of myself. I was able to pull it off. Alright. Now, let's take out Skip. Skip was just one of those cards I'm shocked I never picked up before. Here he is, and he is really, 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 really small. Wait, that's like... Is that even accurate? Should he be bigger? I feel like he's kind of misshapen. I don't know, but here he is. He's really tiny, which I think is really funny. Just have this small, angry-looking news reporter just popping up places doing reports. Well, it's been a long time, but I finally reorganized my shelf. Breaking news! He organized his shelf! There we go. I'm finally done setting up all my Marvel figures. Breaking news! He's done! Oh, looks like Patty's getting a re-release. Breaking news! Patty! It looks like there's just such intensity and so much anger in this face, packed into this little tiny car. He's reporting the breaking news, but maybe the news has broken him. But for real, this is a really over-the-top expression, and I did not expect Skip to be such a little tiny car, and I kind of love that. But yeah, it really is a great face. Not really maybe 100% accurate, and honestly, I don't think the mold is. I think Skip in the movie is a bit longer. I believe he's a unique mold. He's very similar to Chuck Manifold, or the mold used for cars like Sarah Wilson, minus the camera, of course, which is also like the Revny Grillante mold. It's been used quite a bit over the years. You've got his press badge there with a little Piston Cup logo, much like Corey Turbowitz. Some very unique wheels. I don't think I've ever seen a car use those wheels before, and he doesn't have a license plate. Which actually, Chuck Manifold doesn't have a license plate either. I don't know why they do this. Even to this day, they make cars that don't have license plate. Like, Bill Revs didn't have a license plate. There are a lot of cars diecasts out there that just straight up don't have one, and I don't know why. Another interesting thing is that his mirrors are silver. Just another thing to make Skip Ricter stand out as a very interesting little angry newsman diecast, and I don't know. I think he's a pretty cool release. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Breaking news! Your shoe is untied! I'm not even wearing shoes. Forget him. Bye now.